You're a comic fan, you know what happens to Jesse. Let it play its course. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to Make a Path Presents. My name is Ronnie Hayes, and today, let's talk The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 5, Afterthoughts. Alright, Deadheads, I would have to rate this episode mid-good. Now, it starts off the episode very vicious and intense, and if it kept that pace, it would have been perfect. However, the story just wasn't right for that, but it does fall through a little bit towards the end. Now, Rick is running. He obviously had to ditch. I've seen some people comment ridiculous shit on this, but he had to ditch the RV. We do have to understand that the wolves shot the freaking RV. The RV wasn't starting, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, Rick said we can't go back, and then he's like, oh, fuck that, and he goes back. He doesn't have a choice, because the RV was the thing that was going to lure the walkers away. Without that, he couldn't do it himself, because how far is he going to get before he can't run any further? He just barely made it back to Alexandria. We see him, falling down as he's running. He is covered in sweat, and it's hot as shit down south. Anyone who's been, outside on a hot day down south knows, man, you run back and forth, you're already dripping, So this dude is just exhausted. There's no way he would be able to run out of the RV, start running down the street, leading the walkers away, because when you're running, anyone who's ever fucking jogged knows that when you run and run and run, when you get tired and take a break, and then you run and run and run, you're only going to be able to run shorter distances, because you're eventually just going to get so worn out. The walkers constantly walk. They don't stop and rest. So eventually they would have caught up to Rick and ate him. And they're so big and spread out that there's no way he could have just ran and then, hooked the left to get back. It's just utterly ridiculous. So Rick had to jump ship. And when he gets back to Alexandria, he talks about reinforcing the wall where the truck hit. I thought this was interesting because since the wall's reinforced, this could actually lead to the tower falling down, taking out the wall, which could bring into No Way Out. I'll talk about that in the prediction video. I love his little comment, the wall will hold, will you? And he is given a speech to the Alexandrians about noise, and he's in earshot of the walkers. Now, why is he doing this? I heard some people saying some ridiculous, I don't know what, maybe they didn't like this episode. There's some crazy shit being talked about this episode, but Rick is actually telling the people in Alexandria that if they're quiet, he says like a graveyard, if they're quiet, the walkers have no reason to stay here. If they can hear us constantly, they'll never leave. They'll never leave. So if we're quiet, they might move on. Maybe Sasha and Abraham and Daryl get back, and they could actually lure the walkers away. If we're in here making noise, it's like just constantly ringing a dinner bell. They're never going to go. It's actually possible, right, for them in Alexandria to stay dead quiet and for something else to get the attention of the walkers and for the walkers to leave. That is absolutely possible. It's not likely, but that's what Rick is saying. Is Rick is thinking the people are going to come back. Rick and Nicholas and Daryl and Abraham and Sasha. He's thinking they're going to come back before a few hours are up. So that's why he says that speech. And no, they cannot just get on the ladder and start shooting and stabbing all the walkers. Because then if you stab 1,000 walkers, first off, that's going to be exhausting. What would you do with all the bodies? I mean, it's just going to rot. You would have to bring out crews to clean it up. Eventually, it's just going to be shoveling soup because the walkers will crush the ones on the bottom. That is, I would never in a million years ever give that plan a pass. That is ridiculous. But think about it. If they just kill mad walkers, they're going to slowly make a ground. They're going to fill it in. So slowly it'll lead to the top. If you do it enough, they'll create a ramp so the other walkers can just walk right in. No, I do not support that idea. Anyway, I talked about it before. I got mad respect for Aaron stepping up, being like, this was my fault, man. It does look like Rick gives Morgan a nod at the end there when he says we have some things to talk about, and I'm thinking it's because of the wolf that's tied up. So I'm thinking Rick already knows, which is very interesting because we did see, I guess Rick got a drink or something and he came back, so he did get the gates going and come back. So yeah, I'm thinking it's the wolf. Anyway, the wall, finally. A lot of you guys were right. I don't know how the hell you did it. My eyes, congrats by the way, my eyes could not see memory. I did say, I absolutely agree it could be 4 who's dead inside, Alexandria who's dead outside, but there's my eyes still to this day could not read memory in the trailer, not in the episode. It showed it clear as day. So that was a good call on your part. Good one on that, because like I said, and it's not always me. I don't have all the answers, so that specifically, you guys did a great job on that, because I know you kept telling me, dude, it says memory, and I'm just like, I don't see it. So that was a good one. Yeah, the Carl fight, that was lame as shit. It started not so lame. It started like it was going to be something, and then Carl wind up like he was going to punch him, and he just kind of like gave in and was like, you know. And I know we took a break and we saw, Spencer, Deanna, Denise, Jesse. We saw a lot of character development from them, and it's interesting because it tells me that you can never, ever please some fans. It's just impossible, because we have fans who constantly bitch, oh, it's just killing another red shirt. And then I see those same fans bitching that, what are we doing with these Alexandrians? I don't care about them. Just kill them. I read comments like that, and sometimes it's the same person where it's just like, do you understand you're saying something that contradicts itself right now? You're saying you don't want all red shirts to be killed all the time, but then you're saying, oh, they should just kill them, I don't care about them. It's frustrating. We should give the people of Alexandria a chance. I really think we should give them a chance, because some of these people are going to be here for the next few seasons. So if they're fleshing out these characters, don't shit on it right away. If you don't like it after you see, you're like, oh, that part was dumb, then wait a little bit. You might actually get to like that character, and then when you go back and rewatch it, you could actually like the scenes that they're in previously. That does happen. Anyway, Maggie and them go into the sewers. I think this is actually pretty damn cool that the sewers happens an episode after all of the Ninja Turtle hints with Eastman and everything else, his t-shirt and all that stuff. But I wrote down that Maggie says something I fucking love. She says he could be hurt, he could be trapped, he could have been taken, I could have been out there and I could have helped him. And I love that she covered all the bases, because this shit could happen in this world. So she's on point. She knows anything could have happened to him. It could have been any number one of those things. She also says something, if he's not alive, I don't want to be waiting on him. And I think that shows strength. She's starting to process this more, and that shows some strength, that she could actually pull herself together if Glenn does die. Now, Glenn might be a bigger death than I originally thought. Now, maybe that's not the right way to say it. They could be doing more with his death than I originally thought, because it's looking like Maggie and us, the viewers, might find out something at the same time, because what they're doing with Glenn is perfect. Watch my Glenn video. I'm going to put it in the description, or I'm going to put it in the iCard here. I strongly believe that, especially after this episode, that they filmed Glenn's death ambiguous on purpose, because we are where Maggie is right now. We don't know if he's alive or dead. We really don't know. He could be alive. He could be dead. He really could be. Speaking of them being in the sewers, I do know that they had an awesome walker kill where Maggie's arm got stuck in the walker. Remember, I said this in a recent video where I've always wanted someone to come up with a rotted walker, get their arm through it, and then I said pull their head back and their head comes off and they pull it through the body. It was really ridiculous, but she almost did it. If she would have just pushed her arm through and stabbed him in the head, I would have been cool with that. And I know a lot of people are talking shit about their struggle. They're like, oh, she's competent and so was he. Why the hell did it look so? And when I rewatched it, I didn't think it looked like that, because the gate gave out. It hit friggin' Aaron upside the head. He fell back. He just lost his footing somewhat. And he shimmied back. Yeah, he was a little bit scared, but he had to find his knife and stab the walker. I don't see weakness in there. He got bopped upside the head. He fell back, lost his footing. I don't see him being weak. I don't see that being a huge struggle. He just simply lost his footing. Same thing with Maggie, and her hand got stuck in his rib cage, and it looked a little more set up, but I give them credit for being creative, but it did look a little set up, not as authentic. But when they finally get to the end of the tunnel, Maggie snaps out, and I love this part. I've seen some people shit on it, but she knows they're not getting out of this. One of them or both of them might die. They're not thinking straight. They both have a problem right now, and they're pushing through it, not thinking clearly. Maggie says just stop, and that's when the walkers come up to the gate, and I think that was a smart thing to do, because there's no way they're going to get out of there. They could have got out of there and got trapped and killed immediately. Who knows how many walkers were around there? I don't. Do you? Because I don't, you know? They don't know. They could have went into a whole new world of shit. She doesn't see any hope, and I think that was a smart thing to do, but I noticed something immediately after. I forgot she burns Glenn's picture, because I remember her burning her picture that Glenn had, but I rewound this, I put on captions. She says, I burned his picture. Am I drawing a complete blank on this? Did she burn his picture too? Because I don't remember that. I remember Glenn having a picture. So is this hinting to something that happened off screen? Did she burn this? I could be totally forgetting something. You guys are going to be like, duh, don't you remember when she burned his picture? I don't remember, no. So let me know in the comment box. I do not remember, but I thought that was very interesting, because it's either a mistake by the screenwriter, they had a writer that forgot it was the other way around, or this is talking about something that happened off screen. And yes, she admits she's pregnant. We already went through that. We knew that in episode 1. So, and again, everyone who called us out, called us assholes for saying that, right here, bitch. And no, I do not believe it's sexual between Aaron and Maggie. I think they set that up perfectly. Aaron is gay. You know, he's gay as shit. He likes men. He does not have the hots for Maggie. He's not trying to get with her. They weren't setting that up. I know a lot of times you see a guy and a girl on screen and you think immediately they're trying to set something up. But that's not what it was. I do like Maggie's next line, but it kind of makes me nervous, where she says, I don't get to know what happened, and I don't get to know why it happened. And that makes me a little nervous, because, man, what if they just said, screw it, we're not going to show Glenn forever now, you know? I mean, we could just assume after, 2 seasons, yeah, he's a goner, but imagine if they actually went, like, till season friggin' 7. Oh, man, fans would be pissed. Anyhow, Deanna, when she's walking, I got a couple people that asked what did it mean when Deanna was walking and she overhears that couple fighting, and then the wolf came out. And I talk about the wolf and how the wolf zombie got there in the previous video, so if you want to check that out, it has more stuff from this episode. Check out my first impressions video. I'm going to leave that in the eye as well. But when the wolf zombie comes out, the wolf walker, she overhears the people in the house arguing, saying the same thing that Spencer said, how this is a joke. This is all a joke. We're not safe here, yada, yada, yada. So that kind of just stopped her in her tracks. That's all that's about. It's not setting something up, because I've seen some wild theories, but don't go there, because it's not set up for that. We got the Jesse and Rick kiss. Man, I wanted to just lie to myself and say it was all right. It's not. I don't know. It didn't do it for me. Season 5 and season 6, it just felt forced. It didn't feel organic. It felt clumsy. It felt messy, and that might be because I knew it was coming because of the comic books. Same thing. They got together in a comic briefly, but. I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? Did Jesse Rick kiss? If you're a friggin' Jesse hater, don't even. Because the haters, when the shipping haters, sometimes you guys say ridiculous shit. If you ship Rick and Michonne, first off, keep in mind that could still totally happen. You know what I'm saying? The Jesse thing in the comic was only temporary. One thing that annoys the piss out of me are comic fans that ship that ship Rick and Michonne and get so pissed that Jesse's here. You're a comic fan, you know what happens to Jesse. Let it play its course. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you're a nutcase with the shipping, comment about something else. Anyway, yeah, what do you think about that? I thought it was sloppy. It wasn't really organic. It didn't do it for me, And then next, the blood seeping through the walls. I thought that was blood coming through a bullet hole. That I'm not real clear on. It looks like that even in the previews for the next episode. So, You let me know what you think that blood is coming through the walls. And also let me know what you thought about this episode. And if I left anything out, check the first impressions video and also comment down below. What was your favorite part in this episode? And let me know, what do you think about bottle episodes? Do you think that a bottle episode structure is forcing at least 10 to 20 minutes sometimes of filler into the episode? Let me know what you think about that in the comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Subscribe now.